Okay, so today we would be looking at the continuation of what we've been able to cover in Microsoft Excel in the past few weeks. And without further ado, we would start with the page layout, as it were. We've been able to cover most of the sections in the page layout, covering margins, orientation, size. But we have not been able to look at print areas, break, background, and print titles. And these are just the four things that I will be addressing in this video. Again, this is a series of various computer appreciation packages, and it will make sense if you like, subscribe, and share these videos with your friends who are actually interested in learning it. So I'm going to open a new file which I'm going to use to demonstrate this for us. So I have this file excuse me, I have this file that is currently open, and as you can see, it is numbering in a number of rows. It has quite a number of rows, which implies that on attempting to print this, it will not be able to fall into one page. Alright, so let's see what it looks like. So I'm just going to do Ctrl P, for example, and as you can see on the right hand side here, you will see that the document is looking so well arranged in page 1. But as soon as I move to page 2, you will see that the titles of the document didn't come with the page 2. So it becomes a little bit difficult for me to actually understand, or for the end user of this document to know the particular row, the particular column that is coming with the particular title, right? So I have to go back to page 1 to look at what, product brand name, pack size, new slash price. I have to go back to page 2, and if per chance I forget, I have to go back to page 1. So possibly I had to keep page 1 handy to be able to see what exactly is going on. But this challenge can be easily fixed by the page titles option on our page setup on the page layout menu. So let's see how it looks like, or how it works. So first thing first is I am going to click on this print titles. Then when you come to this, it's actually going to load this page setup window for you, just this one that we have here. That's exactly the same thing it's going to load. So it's not as if it is calling a new function or calling an entirely new dialog box that we have not seen before. We have seen this page setup dialog box. As you can see, once you click on this this button here, it loads your page setup, where you can set your page, you can set your margin, your headers, and the footers. But we are not going to be dealing on either of these three for now, because we have dealt with page, we have done a thing or two about margin, and header and footer is what we are going to do possibly in the next video in this series. But then we are interested in the sheet area, in the sheet tab of this page setup. So now, what are the things we want to do? The first thing is, let's talk about the print area. So the print area is like the function that enables you to choose, despite the size of your worksheet, a particular portion that you want to print. So let's assume, for example, now, as much as this my worksheet is, I want to print just this, the row number 1 to row number 10. I click on this my print area, and I select the particular row, the particular portion I want to print, right? I return to this hatch and I click OK, for example. By the time I go to Ctrl P, regardless of whatever I do, you see I can't get beyond the selection I have made. And that's the beauty of print area. So maybe in a particular worksheet, there is a particular thing you want to always print. Despite the size of your worksheet, you don't want to print beyond this thing. You use print area. So, and then remember that once you set this, it doesn't change by itself really, but you just have to go and cancel or close that thing. So I can just come here. I have said I wanted to print A1 to C10. This is something we have done before, a selection of range. So I can easily say, all right, I want to remove this. So when I remove this, it returns to displaying again my general it returns again to displaying my general worksheet when I said I want to print. So that's that about print area. Suffice to say also that even when you don't do print area like that, you can as well say, okay, fine, I want to print just a particular page in this my worksheet at this point, and you will see it's going to print, right? Or you can select the page you want to print here. Once you say, okay, this is page 2, then you say you want to print pages 2 to pages 2, and it will print. But more on that shortly. So now, coming back to this place, the next thing we want to look at is print titles, and we said that print titles enables us to print rows fixated at the top or columns fixated at the left hand side. We're going to talk more about the column to the left hand side maybe later in this series. But the rows at the top, so I'm going to click on this hatch again, and I'm going to select the particular row I want to repeat. So this is the particular row I want to repeat. Never mind the fact that it is extending up to the end of the series. Really, you don't have to mind that. But the most important thing is that this row will be repeated across every pages of this document. So let's return back here and confirm our selection. So I'm just going to do OK. And then when I go to Control P, you'll see that now we have page 1. This is page 1 of a series, and it's saying product brand name, product size, / price on page 1. And let's go to page 2. You see now that page 2 comes with our product brand name, pack size, and price slice, and so on. And page 3 comes with that again, and page 4 comes with that again, and page 5 comes with that again. So this is a handy way to ensure that if you're creating an Excel spreadsheet and your goal is to be able to print that spreadsheet, it is important that you understand that the print title option helps you to be able to actually ensure that what you're printing is exactly what you want to print. It's very important that we know that. Okay, so now the same thing is applicable for the columns on the left, but I bet that now we don't, because we don't have a large spreadsheet, so just a 3-column spreadsheet. So but it's still the same procedure. Select the large and select the column that you want to repeat. Very important thing again is that the rows that you want to repeat at the top does not necessarily be the first row in the series. So let's say, for example, I'm clicking this this large again, and I'm saying I want this row to be repeated at the top. As you can see, we are repeating row 7. Now, it's also important that I mention this. When you in Microsoft Excel, when you are selecting a cell, when you are making a reference to a cell, adding a $sign to it means it doesn't change per movement. We are going to demonstrate that just shortly after this demonstration. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to confirm my selection by saying OK. Now let's go to our print, and I say Control P. Remember that the product name is supposed to be this particular A1, B1, and C1 is supposed to be the one at the top. But let's do Control P and let's see what is happening. Now we do you see? So on page 1, because this already have a title, so we don't have a problem. On page 2, you see that Asepol paracetamol is listed there, and on page 3, Asepol paracetamol is listed, and page 4, Asepol paracetamol, and page 5, Asepol paracetamol is also listed. So there is no rule that says that it must be the first row in the series that is actually going to be at the top. But it is very important that if you want to repeat the row across all the pages, it makes more sense that this particular row is the row that is starting the worksheet. So like what we're doing here now, the page 1 already have the headers, really. The product brand name, the pack size, and the new slash price has already been designed for page 1. So now we are saying Asacol suspension paracetamol, it cannot come and become the title of page 1 because page 1 already has title. Then it will now become the title of the subsequent pages. So for me, the best thing to do would have been simple: move that particular row that I want to be at the top and move it to the top of the series. That way, I know that yes, across all board, it is going to be the particular row that I want to see. So now that's the explanation we have about the print titles. Then the next one here is background. That background is more like just the beautification that we are going to be using here. We don't really need background, but it depends on what you're working on. Let's look at what we have. Okay, so I need an internet connection to be able to do that. Then we have page break. We'll have page break. You know again that page break is used to break the page, and as you can see, this is where my page break starts. So we move on again, you'll see the next page break. So it gives you a view of what is contained in this page, but better still, you can come to page break, page layout preview to look at it and get a better picture of what your page look like when you're about to print. So we'll do page layout, and if for example in this page layout your page break, you are seeing that your page break is not actually covering the much you're supposed to cover, then you can come to view, and in your page break preview you can now begin to modify the movement. So here like in my page 1 is covering from A1 to C40, as you can see, A1 to C40. So I can say, okay, no, I want more. Then I can drag, right? I can just click and drag. But the disadvantage of that is that when you drag, you can see now, once you drag, what happens is that it is either it reduces the zoom size of your spreadsheet, or it forces a particular page to be smaller and another page to be larger. So for me, I don't usually do that. But do you notice that in page 1 we have just A1 to C9? What do you think caused that? Okay, so let me explain what actually caused that for you. Remember that in our page break here, we actually, let me remove all the page break. So let me reset all page break, as you can see now, and let me return back to my normal view. Now, at this point, if I come to view and I say page break preview, do you see what happened? You notice that my page break is from, page 1 is from A1 to C30. That's my page 1. Then my page 2 will now be A31 to C something around 61. That's still 30 rows, and so on and so forth. So now let me go back to page layout and clear all the page breaks. So I'm going to reset all page break and go back to my normal view, page layout, and I don't have remove page breaks, right? So now the thing I want you to notice is that my cursor is actually sitting here, right? So this is A1 to C10, and my cursor is sitting on C10 currently, as you can see from my reference here, C10. So I want to move my cursor to C7. As you can see, it's currently on C7, and I want to insert a page break. Now that I've inserted a page break to C10, let's look at what happens. So I come to view again, and I say page break preview, do you notice that my C7, do you notice that my page 1 is just from A1 to C6, excluding my C7, because I said the page should break at C7. Alright, so it basically does almost the same thing that your print area does, right? But the only difference is that print area would only select that portion you have actually highlighted, and it will not print any other thing. But in the case of page break, it ensures that the page is broken at that point of your selection, and the rest of the pages will now take their normal form factors, right? It takes their normal form factors, but every other thing, that particular page you have selected, will now take the description or the definition of the page that you have actually made. So that's that about page break here in Microsoft Excel. So I'm going to reset all page, so we'll return to what we wanted to do. So we've talked about print area, which is also something we mentioned while we're in the print titles dialog box. So if you do print area, clear print area, or set print area, you will see that it's going to actually launch. Let's do print titles here. You'll see print area here. So if we do this and I select I want to print just this, and I close the slash and I do OK, you see that in my print area now it can say clear print area, and I can clear that. So instead of saying coming back here, as you can see now, it's no longer here. So you see that I cleared from there, or I come here and delete the selection I've actually made from here. So now that's all I'm going to be covering for this video, and in the next video we'll move to another section of our class. Once again, please do share this video, make your comment if it is useful. Make your comment if the video is useful to you, and like and subscribe. So see you again in the next class. Have a lovely day.